United States informs its allies that Iran has transferred ballistic missiles to Russia to use in the war in Ukraine.
3 Israelis were killed after a man approached from the Jordanian side of a West Bank crossing, opening fire at security forces before being shot.
Authorities in Kosovo closed 2 border crossings with Serbia after protesters form a blockade and stop some motorists from passing through. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis promises pension boosts and wage hikes in his economic plan for next year. The United States has reportedly informed its allies that Iran has transferred short-range ballistic missiles to Russia to use in the war in Ukraine. 2 anonymous officials confirmed the US intelligence findings but didn't say how many weapons had been delivered or when the transfers took place. The White House has warned Tehran for months against transferring ballistic missiles to Moscow. Iran has been providing Russia with its Shahed attack drone since autumn 2022. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry has said its forces have liberated the village of Kalinova, 25 kilometers southeast of Pokrovsk. Russian troops have been advancing on the key logistics hub for months, prompting Ukraine to order the mandatory evacuation of children from the city last month. And on Saturday, residents in Kursk went to the polls to vote in local elections. The western Russian region is where Ukraine launched a lightning incursion on August the 6th, seizing several settlements with the aim of creating a buffer zone inside Russia.
Three Israelis were shot and killed at the border crossing between the West Bank and Jordan, in what appeared to be an attack linked to the 11-month-old war in Gaza. The Israeli military said the gunman approached from the Jordanian side in a truck before opening fire at Israeli security forces, who killed him in a subsequent shootout. Local authorities closed the crossing until further notice, and Jordan is reportedly investigating the shooting. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the attack and linked it to Israel's larger conflict with Iran and allied militant groups, including Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Jordan, which has a large Palestinian population, made peace with Israel in 1994, but has been deeply and publicly critical of its policies towards Palestinians.
Authorities in Kosovo have closed 2 border crossings with Serbia after protesters on the Serbian side blocked the road and prevented motorists with Kosovo documents from passing through. Protesters started blockading the border crossing late on Friday. They said that was in protest against the closure of parallel administrations that ethnic Serbs in northern Kosovo had set up. Some demonstrators also demanded that the NATO-led peacekeeping force in Kosovo assume control over the north. Northern Kosovo, with its predominantly ethnic Serb population, has long been a flashpoint for tensions between Belgrade and Pristina. Earlier this year, Kosovo made the euro the only legal currency in the country, effectively outlawing use of the Serbian dinar. And the border blockade began just days after police in northern Kosovo closed 5 administration offices linked to the Belgrade government. Serbia doesn't recognize Kosovo's independence, proclaimed in 2008. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis has presented his economic agenda for the next year in a speech at the Thessaloniki International Fair. He outlined 9 challenges for the government, including the convergence of public and private sector wages, employment growth and green transition.
Δεν έχω σήμερα μαζί μου κάποιο σάκο με αλόγιστες παροχές, αλλά μόνο προτάσεις για χρήσιμες και αποτελεσματικές επιλογές. Πολύ περισσότερο όταν ήδη 8 κράτη, ανάμεσά τους μεγάλες οικονομίες όπως η Ιταλία και η Γαλλία, έχουν ήδη τεθεί από την Ευρωπαϊκή Επιτροπή σε καθεστώς εποπτείας για υπέρβαση δαπανών. Κάτι τέτοιο προσωπικά δεν θα το επιτρέψω να συμβεί στην Ελλάδα.
Among the 45 measures announced are higher pensions for 2 million pensioners and an increase in the minimum wage from April.